Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are looking at one of the most foundational, absolutely captivating stories ever told, the Ramayana. But look, we aren't just doing a standard birth story today. We are examining the exact moment a literal cosmic solution was deployed to fix a massive earthly problem. For those who already know the lore, you know these origins are layered with profound meaning about duty, dharma, and destiny. Okay, let's dive into this. We are exploring the deep origins of the epic, specifically unpacking the magical, fateful, and honestly, strategically necessary birth of Lord Rama. We're going to look at exactly how an ancient crisis set the stage for the ultimate archetype of righteous leadership.
So picture this. Imagine a kingdom standing at the absolute peak of its glory. This is Ayodhya. It's a realm vibrating with incredible wealth, lasting peace, and deep harmony. But right at its center, gnawing at the heart of the kingdom, lies this massive, glaring question. How does a childless king secure a divine legacy? That is the agonizing dilemma facing our protagonist at the start of this epic, the wise and noble King Dashratha. For a ruler, having no heir isn't just a personal tragedy, it is an existential threat to the stability of the entire realm. It's the psychological weight of knowing everything you've built might just crumble into dust because there's no one to carry the torch forward.
Imagine the sheer torment of that position. You have boundless wealth and unquestionable earthly power. Dasharatha's Ayodhya was flourishing by literally every conceivable measure. Happy citizens, secure borders, full coffers. Yet opposing all of that worldly success was one heavy, devastating sorrow, an empty cradle. And this brilliantly illustrates a universal human anxiety that transcends the epic itself, right? The fear of leaving no legacy behind. All of that immense prosperity with absolutely nowhere to go. It sets up this fascinating tension where the most powerful man in the world is completely powerless to solve his most fundamental problem through normal earthly means.
So, what do? Well, desperate times, especially in the ancient world, call for truly divine measures. To solve this existential crisis, King Dasharatha turns away from earthly statecraft and leans entirely into the mystical. He initiates the Putra Kamashti Yagna. Now, this wasn't merely a simple prayer or a hopeful wish cast into the wind. It was the ultimate spiritual Hail Mary. It was a highly complex sacred fire ritual performed with the specific, bold intent of commanding the cosmos to grant an heir. It was a massive undertaking that required intense, almost superhuman focus.
And this ritual wasn't just about going through the motions. It followed rigorous, spiritually demanding steps that tested the king's absolute devotion. We're talking massive personal and material sacrifice, proving the absolute purity of Dasharatha's intent to the watching heavens. And the result of this intense crucible of faith? A literal divine offering. The gods were deeply moved, and they actually responded. According to the rich lore of the epic, a glowing celestial being emerged right out of the sacred fire, handing the king a golden vessel filled with divine dessert, payasam, to be shared among his queens. It's just a beautiful metaphor for how ultimate surrender can yield ultimate reward.
But get this, the universe didn't just answer King Dasharatha's great sorrow with a single heir. No way. It answered with overwhelming miraculous abundance. Ayodhya suddenly went from staring down the barrel of a bleak, heirless future to being blessed with 4 extraordinary princes. Born shortly after the completion of that sacred ritual, these 4 sons represented a complete restoration of hope. It's that classic epic trope, right? The pendulum swinging from total despair to absolutely overflowing bounty. Suddenly, the glorious legacy of Ayodhya wasn't just secured, it was fortified 4 times over.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these underlying dynamics are going to drive the entire epic going forward. King Dasharatha shared the divine offering among his 3 queens. Queen Kaushala gave birth to the eldest, Rama. Queen Kaikeyi gave birth to Bharata, and Queen Shumitra gave birth to the twins Lakshmana and Shatrughna. Understanding exactly who belongs to which mother is absolutely essential here, because these maternal origins will later fuel the epic's most heartbreaking political conflicts and complex questions of loyalty. It is the absolute perfect setup for a story where family duty and royal obligation collide.
But among these 4 extraordinary princes, the eldest stood apart with absolute cosmic significance. Queen Kaushalya's son, Rama, wasn't merely a royal heir born to govern a kingdom. He was the 7th incarnation of Lord Vishnu. For those familiar with the lore, you know exactly what this means. It is a massive paradigm shift. Rama carried a divine mandate, stepping into the mortal world bound by human rules, serving as a literal cosmic countermeasure designed to restore universal balance. The earthly crisis of a childless king was simply the vehicle the universe used to deploy its ultimate weapon against rising dark forces.
Even as a young prince, Rama was entirely exceptional. But it wasn't just his divine blood that made him great, it was his deeply grounded earthly character. His core traits were defined by profound kindness, deep wisdom, and an unshakable commitment to righteousness, what we know as dharma. So the crucial point is, Rama wasn't just destined to rule by birthright, his commitment to dharma made him fundamentally worthy of the throne. It forces us to really think about what true leadership looks like. It's not about ruling with an iron fist, but ruling with an empathetic heart and an uncompromising moral compass.
Now, within this royal brotherhood, a uniquely powerful psychological dynamic quickly emerged. The bond between Rama and Lakshmana became absolutely unbreakable. Lakshmana didn't just love his brother. His devotion became the ultimate benchmark for loyalty in ancient literature. He was essentially Rama's shadow, choosing to stay by his side at all times. It's a fascinating look at sibling dynamics where ego is just entirely removed, replaced by this fierce protective dedication. And this isn't just a childhood attachment either. This is an unbreakable brotherhood that will quite literally survive the harshest wilderness and the deadliest battles later on.
So, we have these divinely blessed, uniquely bonded princes. But raw divine potential, no matter how great, needs to be forged in the fires of discipline. Let's move to Ayodhya and see how this builds into true greatness. Enter sage Vishwamitra. He steps into the narrative with incredible reverence. He is a legendary master who acts as the bridge between Rama's sheltered, privileged childhood and his grueling, world-saving destiny. Vishwamitra takes these young royals under his wing to really prepare them for the immense, crushing burdens they are ultimately meant to carry. He is the catalyst here.
And let me tell you, Sage Vishwamitra's curriculum was intense, comprehensive, and totally uncompromising. He wasn't just teaching them to swing swords out in the courtyard. Under his rigorous guidance, the princes had to master a delicate balance of three crucial domains: the complex arts of warfare, the deep esoteric wisdom of the ancient scriptures, and the highly nuanced statecraft required for the duties of kings. They were learning statecraft, spirituality, and combat simultaneously. Why? Because the epic requires a hero who is a master of all three. You can't just be a warrior. You have to be the whole shebang to uphold dharma in a chaotic world.
From a desperate, mystical fire ritual to the ultimate crucible of training under a legendary sage, this entire journey was leading to one singular, undeniable outcome. Rama was being molded. He was being shaped not just to govern the localized kingdom of Ayodhya, but to become the ultimate symbol of truth and virtue for the entire world. This unyielding foundation was absolutely critical. He needed the physical strength, the spiritual depth, and the emotional resilience to face the massive trials that lay ahead. The universe had engineered the perfect leader, and now he was finally ready to step onto the world stage.
Which brings us to the edge of our seats. With this unyielding foundation built and the ultimate archetype of righteous leadership forged, what awaits our new symbol of truth? Next time on The Explainer, we'll follow Rama as his destiny takes a massive turn. We're diving into Episode 2, exploring King Janaka's miraculous discovery of Sita, that legendary, seemingly impossible competition to lift the divine bow of Lord Shiva, Rama's incredible display of strength breaking that bow, and the spectacular royal marriages that unite powerful kingdoms. The stage is perfectly set, the players are ready, and the true epic is just beginning. Thanks for joining me. I hope this brought a whole new layer of depth to these complex origins, and I'll catch you next time.